What's up guys, this is Red from the YouTube channel Red's Rhetoric, and I'm making this video to replace the live stream I just had because there was some audio issues and I didn't like that shit, so I'm just going to record something real quick and then I'll post it later. Anyway, Nathan Oakley is big mad because we were making fun of him last night, and for good reason. He is a very funny person. But anyway, he decided to post a YouTube short last night or this morning, which essentially confirms everything that I've been saying about him and other flat earthers. It's very weird that he would help me in this way. So what I would like to do is I would like to play his YouTube short and then we will respond. So let's take a look. This edge on with my location in Florida, and I will do the same while being edge on with her location in California. However, the first thing we need to do is
sink to your knees and acknowledge how flat D is going to be when you measure Earth flat with a horizontal, linear distance measurement for your trig here. Red's Rhetoric.
Find the distance between us. Lucky for us, the distance between us is known by, you guessed it, using the fucking ruler tool on Google Earth. With that, we now have the value of D, which is 2,351.81 miles.
2,351 flat Earth linear miles. Red's Rhetoric measures Earth flat. It's the only way Earth can be measured. Well done, Reds. Earth's flat. We checked.
All right, so there's his video, and let me just call out the first fail, which should have been obvious to him, and the first fail is very simple. When I was making my measurements, I was using Google Earth. Hey, dipshit. Google Earth uses the globe. Do you want to know why Google Earth uses the globe? Because the globe is the only way that you can get accurate distance measurements. Because if you make the flat Earth accurate in one location, you're going to fuck it up for a different location. It's been how many years, Nathan? And you still don't have an accurate flat Earth map? Gee, I wonder why. But the next thing I want to bring up is the fact that you're quote mining here. You are quote mining me. Why did you cut it off at that particular point? Is it because you were trying to be a quote mining piece of shit? And that there was more context in the video that you didn't want your audience to see? Well, I have the original video still, so let's watch it together and find out together. Let's do that. What we need to do is find the distance between us. Lucky for us, the distance between us is known by, you guessed it, using the fucking ruler tool on Google Earth. With that, we now have the value of D, which is 2,351.81 miles. Now what we need is the angle at which we both see the moon. And here are the results. Jade makes her measurements and finds the moon to be 55.4 degrees from the horizon. These measurements were done when I found the moon to be directly overhead at 90 degrees edge on with Jade's location in California. With these values now accounted for, there is one more thing we need to take into consideration: the curvature of the Earth. Wait, did you hear that? Did you hear that, Nathan? We need to take into account the curvature of the Earth? Huh. Why didn't you show that in your video, Nathan? Why did you cut this part out? Is it because you were being a quote mining piece of shit? Well, before we jump to any conclusions here, let's watch a little further. Yes, that same curve that made the ship disappear from our line of sight as seen previously. You see, as you get further away from a point on the Earth, the more deviation you will get in your visual angles. For example, if Jade were to look straight up in California, and I were to do the same in Florida, we would not be looking in the same direction. There is a deviation there caused by the curvature of the Earth. How do we correct for this? Simple. A complete circle is 360 degrees. So if we divide the circumference of the Earth by 360, we will get 69.169 miles per degree of change. Now, if we take the distance between our two observers and divide it by that number, the miles per degree of change, we find that our visual degree difference is 34 degrees. So what this means is that we will need to add 34 degrees to Jade's measurements in order to offset the difference, which when we do the simple math gives us a new value for Jade's observations. That new value is 89.4 degrees. This means we can now find our parallax. Now the inner angles of any triangle will always equal 180 degrees. So we simply minus the total degrees we observed from 180 degrees, which gives us a parallax value of 0.6 degrees. And finally, we now have everything we need for our equation to solve for x. So x will represent the distance from the moon to my location in Florida. So we simply plug in the values where they belong, crunch them out, and what do you fucking know? We found that the moon is 224,573.102 miles from my front door. The conclusion is that your assertion that the moon is only 3,000 miles away is horseshit. Alright, so we discovered a lot of things there. The first thing we discovered is that I did take the curvature of the Earth into account in my calculations. So that's embarrassing for you, Nathan. It seems to me that you were being a quote mining piece of shit. And secondly, we saw that the purpose of the calculations was to debunk the claim that the moon is only 3,000 miles away. That claim, of course, being made by Jeranism. So, Nathan, why is it that you are being a quote mining piece of shit and thinking that that somehow proves that you're better than me or something like that? Like, are you fucking insane? That's not how any of this shit works. But here's the thing, Nathan. I am disappointed at the fact that you did not take the opportunity to put forward some legitimate criticisms. Because here's the thing. I too agree that the video in question is not my best work. And looking back on it, I find the methodology I used to be oversimplified and flawed. Clearly, the video had some weaknesses embedded within it. I accept that. But my question is, why didn't you call that out? Could it be that you're not smart enough to recognize those flaws, so you resort to the Flurf playbook of dishonest argumentation? So I'm going to go over exactly what I did wrong in that video, and Nathan, I'm going to explain how it still doesn't help you all that much, especially when you consider my more recent uploads, my more recent contributions. Alright? Good, let's get started. So the first thing that we did is that we took the size of the Earth for granted, not the shape. So you could have criticized me for something legitimate, but instead you just decided to quote mine the ever-living fuck out of me by making the claim that I didn't take into account something that I did take into account. So, sucks to be you on that one. Secondly, the quality of our measurement left a lot to be desired because we were only using basic shit like tripods and tilt protractors and shit like that. We didn't have access to the cool shit that we have today. Cool shit like this. Or cool shit like this. In fact, we didn't have access to all of this cool shit 10 years ago. As the quality of our equipment becomes better, so does our lethality to the flat earth bullshit story. So our standards naturally rise. And with higher standards, you may want to replace older videos with newer videos that meet those standards. And we have done that, Nathan. We have measured the altitude, size, and speed of the International Space Station. In fact, we even measured the distance to the fucking sun. I remember you cope spiraling over that one. And speaking of that video, Nathan, you really cope spiraled over the part of the video where not only did we confirm on our own the shape of the Earth, but we also confirmed the size of the Earth. So we went from taking it for granted to actually verifying it ourselves. Ooh, that's gotta hurt.
Nice.
And finally, and I will say this again, I oversimplified the problem, and I did it to the point where the methodology became flawed. That is entirely on me. I should have known better. However, Nathan, we all make mistakes. That was one of my first uploads in this space. In fact, if we go to one of your earlier uploads, we can see that you forgot to put away your fucking dildos. You still have dildos on the nightstand. Should have put that shit away before turning on the camera. So yeah, we all make mistakes. Shit happens. But anyway, Nathan, I have to ask, why are you posting YouTube shorts that demonstrate that you're a quote mining piece of shit rather than, oh, I don't know, agreeing to debate me? I mean, after all, you've been running away for over 2,400 days. That's not a typo. That's real. And you constantly go around saying how you love flat smacking the globies and showing them how good your balls taste. Well, you've been running away from a great opportunity to do just that for over 2,400 days. I think it's clear, Nathan, that you're just a fucking coward. You would rather quote mine old videos of mine, not even taking the opportunity to post legitimate criticisms, rather than debate me as I am right now. You've been running away for over 2,400 days, Nathan. That says a lot. That shows who actually has confidence in their position and who doesn't. If you want to keep using my name for clickbait, please be my guest. That way more traffic comes to my channel, and that way more people will become aware of how long you've been running away from me. So, thanks for that. I owe you one. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, brothers and sisters, I must say before we end this video that I am now inspired to repeat this observation, to redo the measurements and to do it properly. After all, we now have the equipment necessary to get that shit done. So yeah, I'm now inspired. We are going to measure the distance to the moon, and we will do so properly. And of course, we're going to upload that video on this YouTube channel. So if you want to be notified when that video drops, be sure to hit subscribe, and hopefully YouTube will take care of the rest. So with that, I want to say thank you very much for watching. My name is Red, this has been His Rhetoric, and as always, have a good night.